Welcome to the beautiful Four Seasons Hotel at Limassol in Cyprus. We've been here all week meeting advisors to high net worth clients and investors. We've learnt the latest trends from the world of funds, trust and corporate services, residence and relocation. Well, I'm delighted to be recording this interview with Andreas Yiasemides, who's a partner at PwC in Cyprus. We're going to discuss the growing Cyprus fund administration industry and pick out all the latest trends. Welcome, Andreas.
Thank you very much. First of all, good morning. Welcome to sunny Limassol. Happy to have you here. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to discuss about the Cyprus fund industry. I'm a partner in PwC Cyprus. I'm in charge of the fund services of PwC, including licensing and fund administration. Before, I used to work in Bank of Cyprus as the head of custody. I was also non-executive director in Central Bank of Cyprus and in the board of directors of Bank of Cyprus. I'm the chairman of Cyprus Investment Fund Association. It's an association. It's the voice of industry regarding fund management company, custodians, administrators in Cyprus. We have more than 400 members, and we are in charge to promote the fund industry across the world.
Terrific. Well, the funds administration industry in Cyprus has been a real growth story, hasn't it? You know, it's really emerged over the last few years. Perhaps you could just take us back and tell us how it developed.
Yes, thank you for the question. Obviously, because yesterday our regulator, Cyprus Security and Investment Commission, announced the data, the statistics of the Cyprus fund industry, and there is a significant growth from last year, even during the pandemic. So obviously, Cyprus is growing as a reputable EU fund hub. But going back, following the financial crisis in 2013, we have decided, the public and the private sector, to focus in other areas and specifically in alternative investment fund. Therefore, in 2014, we brought in a very big international law firm to compare the legislation of Cyprus, Malta, Luxembourg, and Ireland. They came back with many recommendations. Actually, we have adopted more or less 95% of their recommendations. And since then, we have a modern, flexible, and attractive legal framework for alternative investment fund in Cyprus. Since then, we have seen a very important growth, more than 365% in the asset under management. We used to have, in 2016, 2.2 billion euro asset under management. Now we are very close to 12 billion euro, which is a remarkable growth. And the most important thing is that even during the pandemic, this number has been increased, showing the very strong element of Cyprus fund industry and the way forward that will help us to emerge to a mature fund jurisdiction within the EU.
So within less than a decade, you've gone from zero assets in this industry up to 12 billion, which is an impressive story, isn't it? How do you position the Cyprus offering versus other global financial centers doing fund administration?
Interesting question. Actually, we believe that we found a niche market in the European fund industry, in the sense that Cyprus is considered to be a cost-efficient jurisdiction, in the sense that we can offer competitive and high quality services at very competitive prices. This means that, especially for small and medium fund managers, that they are looking specifically to have low fund administration, management, and other audit and other elements in terms of cost, Cyprus can be a very good jurisdiction of choice for them. We have to mention that more or less 65% of the global fund manager are considered to be small to medium. So this is our target market. It's important to mention, especially, it's considered to be a strong vote of confidence. The latest development, the announcement of MUFG, which is a subsidiary of Mitsubishi Financial Group, the establishment of an operational center here in Limassol to deal with the fund administrator. They have more than 3,000 funds that they administer through other jurisdictions, and decided, because of the cost efficiency of Cyprus, to create a center here. For us, it's a strong vote of confidence, and we believe that other fund administrator and fund manager would follow and create a structure here in Cyprus.
And you've got a well-educated workforce that's ready to do the important administration work around these funds. Do you find that there is ample office space, people ready for fund managers who want to expand their businesses here?
Indeed. Cyprus has been considered a center of excellence for so many years regarding financial services. So professionals in Cyprus have upskilled their skills in a level that they will be able to serve the fund industry, to offer fund administration services, including the whole range of fund administration services, net asset valuation, onboarding of the investor. So since we've been a center of excellence for so many years, we just upskill the different professions in Cyprus and being able to serve the fund industry, as I mentioned before, to very competitive price. I mean, if we compare, let's say, Cyprus with Luxembourg and Ireland, we may say that the cost of having a structure in Cyprus, a fund structure in Cyprus, is more or less 1/3 of what is the cost of similar structure in these two countries. And this is not because we compromise the level of quality in the services offered, but if you go through the statistics of the European Commission, you will see that especially the cost of living index in Cyprus is one of the lowest within the EU, even lower than Malta. So this helps us to provide high quality services at very competitive prices and fees.
And you mentioned you grew the assets under administration even through COVID. Do you think the story around costs is part of that picture where fund managers, through the difficult time in markets, said, where can we make efficiencies elsewhere?
Indeed.
Indeed. Part of the story.
Yes, what we have seen during the COVID is that the return is not anymore predictable for funds. So they think that fund manager can change, the parameter that they can change obviously is the cost. So especially because of COVID, cost is a crucial element for small and medium fund managers. So they want to find jurisdictions that may offer high quality services at very low cost in order to be able to increase the rate of return in the funds that they manage. So Cyprus can be a very good option. We have to mention here that except cost, Cyprus now has a very flexible and modern legislation. And at CIFA, we are next to the regulator and we help with the updating and upgrading of our legislation in order to incorporate new market trends and developments in the whole, in the global fund industry. So we have a cost-efficient jurisdiction, a very flexible and attractive legal framework for attendant investment fund. We have a pool of professionals that can serve the industry, and there are specific tax incentives given by our government in order to boost further the fund industry, especially to fund management companies that they want to relocate in Cyprus. I will not mention many, I will just mention one. The carry interest that will be earned by the fund manager will be taxed at 8% and not at 12.5%, which is the normal corporate tax rate, provided that 51% of the share capital of a fund management company licensed in Cyprus is kept by foreigners. So it's an effort to attract foreign fund managers to establish a fund management company here in Cyprus.
And what do you think the sweet spot is? I mean, you mentioned a small, medium-sized fund manager. Is that sort of 100 million to 500 million AUM? Where would you see as an opportunity? Obviously, large funds are great business and you wouldn't be turning that away. But what do you think for those smaller, medium-sized managers?
Indeed, the threshold for any fund manager to be considered small to medium is between 100 and 500 million euro. So all these fund managers are looking to find, let's say, jurisdictions that offer cost-efficient solution. For us, it's the target market. This doesn't mean that we don't want to have also bigger fund manager in Cyprus. Actually, we are now in a position because of the legislation, because of the tax incentive, to attract also fund managers of bigger tickets, a billion or 2 billion euro. But our effort is towards a small to medium fund manager. We know that there are many fund managers across the world. We know, according to the statistics, that 65% of the fund managers around the world fall in this category. This is our main target, but at the same time, we'll do, and I think we have all the ingredients in place to attack also bigger players. The fact that we have now a ready ecosystem for fund manager to function here with global custodian and global fund administrator create, let's say, gives an opportunity to all these fund managers to create a structure here in Cyprus.
One of the interesting things about Cyprus is its geographic location, isn't it? So you're within Europe, but you've got great access towards the east. There's regular flights to Dubai, and that gives you access to the Middle East and India and elsewhere. What do you see? I know that you're very interested and experienced in the India market yourself. It'd be interesting to hear a little bit about what you see as the opportunity looking east for Cyprus in the fund space.
Thank you for the question. Actually, I'm the chairman of Cyprus Business Association. I've been many times under this capacity in India to promote Cyprus in general, but specifically the Cyprus fund industry. As you correctly mentioned, we have a very strategic location on the crossroad of 3 continents. And we provide access to the high growth markets of Middle East, Africa, and Asia. At the same time, being full member of the European Union, we have harmonized the EU directives. We have transposed it to local legislation regarding the fund industry, and we provide access to the European capital market. So it makes sense for Indian and Asian fund manager and fund manager from Middle East to create a structure in Cyprus as a gateway to the European capital market. And also, if they want, let's say, to attract European investors, having, let's say, a European base, Cyprus can be an ideal location. Regarding India, we have seen an increasing trend from Indian fund managers to establish a structure in Cyprus, especially after the latest regulatory development, where SEBI, which is the regulator of India, decided to update Cyprus in category 1. This means that Cyprus fund enjoy lighter regime regarding the KYC, the onboarding process, and also some tax incentives. Only from FATF members, only Cyprus, Dubai, and Mauritius managed to be this category. This is a crucial development. We believe that we'll be able, let's say, to promote this with physical event in India. And because of all the other benefits that Cyprus has, in addition to the fact that we have a very similar legal system. We are both based on UK common law. We have a very good double tax treaty with India, and they can enjoy the benefits of this double tax treaty. And Cyprus is considered a very cost-efficient jurisdiction. All these ingredients will put Cyprus in a very good position as a jurisdiction of choice for Indian fund managers that they want to invest in Europe or attract European investors.
And you've been a regular visitor to Mumbai over the years. Do you think that there's a certain herd mentality as well with fund managers, such that if they become familiar with Cyprus, if one starts, administering funds here, that others follow? I mean, in your trips to Mumbai, do you find that there's a good familiarity with the Cyprus offering in the fund space, and now greater amount of experience, and that leads to then more momentum from others in the sector?
Indeed, yeah. Cyprus and India used to have very good political ties for so many years, and we have enhanced also the business and economic relation between the two countries. We have many things that are common. First of all, we have the same legal system based on UK common law, which is important for the fund manager to establish a structure in jurisdiction where they know very well the legal system. It's a crucial and very important parameter in deciding the jurisdiction that you want to establish a new fund. So Cyprus ticks this box. At the same time, we have a very good double tax treaty with India, so they can utilize and enjoy the benefit of this treaty. And at the same, and we additionally, the fact that Cyprus is the closest EU member state to India provide access to the European market with all the other benefits that I mentioned before, the cost efficiency, the flexible legal framework that we have, and the tax incentives that our government provided to all the fund managers that they want to create a structure in Cyprus.
A big topic in London linked to the fund sector is private families and family offices using fund structures, particularly at the small level, as co-investment vehicles. Do you see have you seen this in practice? Is this something that you're observing private families and family offices using these structures for?
Very interesting and valid notice. We have seen this also in Cyprus. Family offices want, let's say, to have more transparency, to have more regulated structure in a way to avoid, let's say, possible potential conflicts between the family members in the future. They want to have it in a prospectus, everything to be transparent. So there is a trend globally for family offices to create a more regulated structure in order to get advantage of the benefits of collective investment scheme. Obviously, there are specific rules under a regulated entity, and this will help the members of a family to trust the whole structure and being able to invest more in funds rather than traditional trust in other instruments that they used to have in the past.
And they could use these funds flexibly to own real estate or take stakes in companies. It could be a vehicle for the family in order to make investments through, but in an organised and regulated fashion.
Correct. Especially the fact that we have introduced the umbrella structure, meaning that you can have different compartments. You can create, let's say, a collective scheme with different compartments, and you can, in an effort to diversify it and reduce the risk, you can have an umbrella fund with a real estate compartment, a private equity compartment, a venture capital compartment, and you can split the money of the family to various compartments based on the preference of the fund manager or the preference of the family members.
Okay. So in terms of different asset classes which fund managers might administer in Cyprus, there's many jurisdictions now that are seeking to adopt strategies to help managers manage crypto and digital asset strategies. What's the approach here in Cyprus to new managers creating new funds which will hold asset classes that are emerging and are different from the traditional assets?
Indeed, there is an increasing trend globally regarding digital asset and cryptocurrency. And obviously, it's an industry that we have to look and watch out for. Especially Cyprus, our regulator decided to allow investment in cryptocurrency, provided that the collective scheme, the funds, will attract well-informed and professional investors. Because all these investors are fully aware of the risk that we take. It's not allowed to take retail investor because obviously retail investor would not be familiar with the risk associated with cryptocurrency and digital asset and any other risk that may be attached to this asset class, this new asset class. And at the same time, our regulator issue a kind of directive regarding the service providers dealing with the cryptocurrency in an effort to regulate this area and provide specific AML direction regarding this service provider, which is a very important development for the industry. Obviously, we need to look at this industry. This will be the future. Obviously, cryptocurrency will be a new asset class. This is a fact. We need to be careful. Investor, fund managers should be careful, but at the same time, if there is a proper regulated structure with the proper safeguards, I think there is a great room for development in this area through regulated collective investment scheme, alternative investment fund in general.
So it's a cautious but open approach as to the new funds that might be set up, and each case will be looked at on its merits, and you'll have to develop a strategy as you go in a proper way.
Exactly. You need to be careful. You need to consider that maybe you have investors that are not aware of the risk of this new asset class, and you need to structure the investment strategy in a way that you create specific safeguards to avoid big losses for investors.
Okay. As we mentioned at the top, the growth of the industry over the last decade has been substantial. What is it that will hold Cyprus back from doing more? Is it simply getting out and talking to people, talking to the fund managers, educating, and that will inspire growth, particularly as we discussed around emerging markets? What do you think some of the constraints are, but the opportunities if they can be overcome?
First of all, okay, we need to know that Cyprus is a small market with limited opportunities. That's why we focus for Cyprus to be a cross-border fund jurisdiction. And if we go through the statistics of our regulator, you see that only 25% of the assets under management are invested in Cyprus. We are looking, let's say, to create, to establish Cyprus as a cross-border jurisdiction in order for the fund manager to create a structure here and invest everywhere in the world. So regarding investment opportunities, maybe we don't have many investment opportunities. The other thing that we need to obviously to improve is the speed of the registration and licensing of new structure in Cyprus. We are working on this with the regulator, and we believe that will be that we have all the ingredients in place in order, staff, system, and all the other ingredients needed in order to speed up, let's say, the licensing process. The other thing that we need, and at CIFA we are trying actively, is to promote fund industry of Cyprus. First of all, we are in young jurisdiction, in new jurisdiction, new kid on the block, if I can say this, and we need to have promotional events across the world in order for all the fund managers to understand the status and benefits and why Cyprus can be a jurisdiction of choice for all these fund managers, also investors. So we need to promote Cyprus. We need to create a network of fund managers that they know about Cyprus, and this is our main responsibility. Hopefully now that we are exiting from the COVID pandemic era, we'll be able to make a physical presentation in various countries to promote the Cyprus fund industry.
And what does the future look like for the industry? I mean, you mentioned that you've attracted now the right infrastructure. You've got the custodian banking arrangements. You've got, you know, the basic infrastructure that you need. But what's going to sort of take it to the next level? Is it just getting out, talking to people, building that momentum, getting the wins from certain brands? What do you think the future is going to look like?
Indeed, we have noticed a very remarkable growth in the asset under management. Actually, EFAMA, which is a European Fund and Asset Management Association, states that Cyprus managed to significantly exceed the growth rate of other European jurisdictions. We strongly believe that this will be the future. We are going to invest in this area to upgrade and update our legislation in order to be in line with the latest development. And we believe that we'll manage to have more than 25 billion euro as under management, which is an optimistic, ambitious target of CIFA. We are going to have a fund manager that they want to enter the EU and utilize Cyprus, and we look forward to promote the Cyprus fund industry in order for all the fund managers across the world to know the benefits and the advantages of the Cyprus fund industry.
Andreas, wonderful to talk to you today, and we look forward to sharing this with our members. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a great pleasure to talk with you, and thank you very much for the very interesting questions.
The latest technical content delivered through global conversations with professionals for professionals.